sa inyong lahat mga katropa for episode 20 ng
Usapang
Training
at
iba
iba
pa.
Perfect na ba?
Almost.
Lapit na.
Ayan. So, ako po si AM, Learning Manager ng Vistaprint Manila and currently serving as PSTD BOT Secretary. Tonight, kasama natin sina
Ako po, si Edwin Ebreo, ang inyong katropang trainer at member ng PSTD Membership Committee at Board of Trustees at CEO ng Executive Corporation. June, good evening, June.
Good evening, Ed. Good evening sa lahat. June Roy po, dating president ng PSTD 2021, kasalukuyan, ano nga ba? Governance advisor for this year and working as OD consulting head ng Nomura Research Institute. Welcome everyone.
Pearl.
Hello mga katropa. We are in an atmosphere of Murphy's Law. So ako po si Pearl Martinez, with katropa ninyo every Sunday. I am nakalimutan ko pati title ko. I am the Global Manager for Learning and Development of SGS and Co. And I'm also the chair of the membership committee of PSTD. So welcome mga katropa.
Ayan.
Back to you, AM.
Yes. Pwede bang pa-celebrate naman na 20 episodes na tayo. Konti na naman.
Wow, 20!
Yes, this is the 20th. Ayan. And every episode parami yung mga balita natin. So, June, go ahead. Ano bang mga balita ngayon sa PSTD?
Thank you. Good afternoon everyone. Marami pong ganap within this July. So yung August, siguro hanggang first week lang ang i-cover natin kasi weekly naman tayo. So let's start with what you have already that you can enjoy. So mayroon po tayo sa website, mga tools and templates and even ebooks that you can actually access. So i-search nyo po yan, nasa ating website and you can see a wealth and tons of materials that you can. Pwede rin kayo mag-contribute pala so that we can share what we have. Tapos, June issue of our PSTD magazine has been released. So, sa mga members, natatanggap na po nila yan. And then next week na ba? The following week after next week, July 27. Ito, I really would like to emphasize kasi yung research sa Philippines, especially on either HR or L&D or talent development, kulang na kulang. And I'm saying that being a member of an organization where research is in its name, no? Nomura Research Institute. So kahit kami hirap sa pagkuha ng mga data, we have to really build it from scratch a lot of times. So this is something that we are starting in our country. So please support. Marami pong mga presenters dyan na very, very valuable yung kanilang insights na ilalabas at isi-share. Right. So, some more sa mga taga Davao. So, i-welcome po natin ang ating Panagtigom 2023. So, ang ating president, past president, and si Rina, who is the vice president for external, will be there on July 21. And then, our facilitating skills training will be on July 18 to 20. And along with that, August 3 is the power of visual in learning. So these are highly competent individuals or facilitators that we have closely worked with before. And last but not the least, very active po yung ating junior PSTD. So we are in the process of forming local PSTD chapters. So kung gusto nyong maging mentor or volunteer, we are really in need of you and your services. So join us in the JPSTD committee and let's propagate the vision and mission of PSTD in the academe and among the among the students. Para before they join the workforce, they already know and they're already prepared to become talent development professionals. All right. So back to you, AM.
Naka-mute ka, AM.
Give na give pa naman ako. Sabi ko, I don't know about you guys, pero ako sobrang excited ako sa topic and especially sa ating guest for today. Ayan. Confirm lang natin ha na andyan.
Andyan.
Nandito na.
Okay, perfect. Ganito kasi no, when you hear the word mentoring dito sa Pilipinas, ang kakabit niyan talaga si Mentor M. Ms. Maribel Aglipay. She is a partner consultant at the Center for Innovation, Change and Productivity and really widely recognized, one of our community's thought leaders on mentoring. Hindi undeniable ang expertise po niya sa field na ito. And so let's please welcome Ms. Mentor M actually. Mentor M, welcome. Ayan, thank you.
Thank you. Buti na lang nag-work na ulit ang laptop ko.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
My
Congratulations.
laptop now.
Just in time.
Nabiktima ako ni Murphy.
Yes. Mainit kasi yung topic, as you can see, we have a lot of people already logged in and will continue to log in. Sobrang interesado sila. Sige, umpisahan natin kasi alam ko, ang dami natin gustong pag-usapan. So, bago ang lahat, when we think about the word, when we hear mentoring, aside from your name, the image that comes to mind, di ba? Parang Jedi Master tsaka Padawan, di ba? Ganun parang may super wise, ganyan. Usually elderly person in the organization, di ba? Na nagme-mentor ng mga baguhan. Bato-bato sa langit. Is this still a relevant description for mentoring?
Actually, hindi na eh. Modern mentoring does not talk about mentors who are very senior in terms of age and organizational rank. Mas importante na yung mentor has more experience than the mentee. At mas importante rin na yung mentor ay volunteer rather than somebody you drafted to become a mentor of somebody. Kasi kailangan talaga, galing sa puso ang mentoring.
Sabi nga nila, ang coach is usually assigned by the organization. Unlike a mentor na talagang organic na nag-grow yung relationship between mentor and mentee. Sige, so mga katropa, hindi na kailangan, basta mas experience daw si mentor than mentee. Yan. Okay.
At saka they are committed to the relationship. Mahirap yung, yung arranged marriage. Di ba? A lot of arranged marriage are very difficult because, wala silang, they don't know each other. They're not there because they want to be there, but because they were forced to be there. Parang ganun din yung mentoring na hindi voluntary.
Ano po ba? So sabi niyo parang relationship. So nagkikita lang ba sila? Nagkakataon? Does the mentor seek someone to mentor or is it the mentee who seeks a mentor?
In modern mentoring, it's really mentee-driven. So yung mentee dapat klaro sa kanya kung ano yung gusto niyang makuha dun sa mentoring relationship. It's so hard for a mentor to help somebody who doesn't know what he wants out of the mentoring relationship. So usually, I recommend that the mentee go through a career planning workshop so that the mentee can articulate his or her career aspiration or career goal. At based on that, usually a career goal is like 3 years, 5 years. Based on that long-term goal, they can slice a piece of, the things that need to be done that can be covered by the mentoring period. And usually the mentoring period can range anywhere from 6 months to 18 months. No? Depende. But studies have shown that the sweet spot is really 9 months. Kasi kung 6 months, coaching lang yan eh. Pwede na yan sa coaching. Pero kasi ang goals ng mentoring mas long term. So hindi pwedeng 6 months lang usually. It begins at 9 months. It could be 12, could be maybe a little longer.
Could be longer.
Pero depende rin doon sa scheme na gagawin ng organization.
Maribel, gusto ko lang i-acknowledge yung sinabi mo. No? I think this is a very good insight na ang magandang starting point for the mentee is to attend the career career planning or a career development course para malinaw sa kanya, meron siyang sense of direction. Tapos saka siya hanap ng mentor. Parang ganun ba yun?
Well, if it's an open mentoring program, they can look for their mentors and then convince that person to be their mentor, or they can, if it's a formal program, HR usually looks for somebody who can address their career activities, development activities.
So that's how that's how the role of the HR or the talent development practitioner comes in. Is to facilitate the matching of mentor and mentee.
Tama. Okay. Tama. So yung dun sa ating framework na pagmulat, career planning yun. Kailangan mamulat sila kung ano yung strengths nila, ano yung areas of development nila, ano ba yung gusto nilang mangyari sa career nila, yun ang pagmulat.
So you're saying sa pagmulat pa lang, dapat naghahanap na ng mentor? Or nagsisimula na yung mentoring engagement?
Dapat ma-realize niya na I can benefit from mentoring. Kasi sometimes sa pagmulat, all they think about is, I should go through this training program and this training program. They should also explore other activities that will help them develop their desired competency na i-develop.
Okay.
Mentor M?
Yes.
Confirm ko lang, does it also necessarily follow that for mentoring, since it involves long-term or career goals, dapat naka-establish or na-strengthen yung career management and career planning sa organization, such that if there is no career planning, walang mga career conversations which are in place, and then you just want to establish a mentoring program, it might be difficult to succeed in that. Tama po ba? Just confirming my understanding.
Yes. A career planning system is necessary as a parang infrastructure to be in place so that your mentoring will succeed. Kasi for example, wala kang career paths, di ba? Kasama yan sa career development. Kailangan mag-set up ng career path. Wala kang career path, pero marami kang pinapa-mentor at mga participants. Nag-develop na sila. Wala silang career path. Guess where they will go?
Correct.
Yeah.
Over the back.
Tama.
Thank you na lang sa nag-mentor sa kanila.
AM, meron lang akong, kasi nakikita ko dito sa thread natin, sa chat, na merong iba't ibang interpretation. Kasi yung literal term na ginagamit, ikaw mentor ka kasi ganyan. Tapos meron ding tanong si Carmen, I think yung differentiation between being a coach and being a mentor, since nandun pa rin tayo sa definition ng mentoring. How would you differentiate mentoring from coaching, Maribel?
Okay. Coaching is incumbent upon the immediate superior. There's no getting away from that. That's their responsibility. Mentoring, on the other hand, while the supervisor can also mentor, I do not recommend it, not in the Philippine setting anyway, because supervisors will experience role conflict. Kasi ang job nila is to get results from you in the next 6 months. And mentoring is completely different. It wants you to develop certain skills that you will need in the future, not in the current job. So kung sa present job pa lang, nahihirapan na siyang to get results, paano pa niya i-mentor for future competencies yan? So I don't recommend it. Plus, the dynamics also in the Philippines, it doesn't work. Because in a mentoring conversation, you should have collegial conversations, meaning we see each other as equals. And
may power distance, no?
Power
Yes,
distance, correct again. That's the term for it, power distance. So that gets in the way of honest, open relationships. Because if I were your mentee and you were my boss, I would always put my best foot forward because you have the power to give me a grade. Diba? Yeah. I will reveal my weaknesses, my fears, my apprehensions, maybe my, fantasy career. Hindi ko yan i-share kasi baka, minus points yan sa akin. Let's just tell you what you want to hear.
Yeah, I have a question. Because in the last episode that we had Bobby as our guest. And one of the things he mentioned is that everybody deserves to be coached. Everybody deserves a coach. So would you say the same in terms of mentoring? Does everybody deserve to be mentored, or does everybody deserve to have a mentor?
Okay, from our definition of coaching, diba? Coaching is more performance-based. Yes, everybody deserves to be coached. But if this person does not have a sincere desire to improve himself, he doesn't have any plans for his career, it might be useless to mentor this person kasi wala siyang long-term vision. Gusto lang niya yung ngayon. Gusto lang mataas ang sweldo ngayon. Okay na yan sa akin. Yung ganyan. Pero yung seeing himself as assuming greater responsibility or taking on bigger roles, kung hindi ganun yung mindset niya, sayang naman yung mentoring kung ganun lang yung kanyang ambisyon. Hindi ganun yung ambisyon niya. So, So the answer to that is yes, everybody deserves a coach. Only those who desire genuine personal and professional development deserve a mentor.
May magandang tanong si Kevin. Yeah.
Hello, Kevin.
Yeah, basahin mo.
If
if mentee-driven, sige, please, AM.
Okay. If mentee-driven ang paghahanap ng mentor, what's the role of HR in the process?
Yun, magandang tanong.
Okay, that's one way of doing it in the organization. You can say, okay, you can go look for a mentor. Kaya lang, a more systematic way is setting up a mentoring program. And that way, you can screen your mentors. Kasi, not everybody would do well as a mentor. And then it will be more systematic. You can really set up the partnership so that at the end of their mentoring engagement, they have something to show for. So, iba-iba kasi ang mentoring. May formal mentoring, may informal mentoring. You can do informal mentoring. There are people in our industry who come to me and tell me, can you be my mentor? Basta, I have time. Yeah, go ahead. Sige lang, we can do this. For nothing, no? I just like to help young people.
Yep.
Pero kasi hindi lahat ng tao ganun ang mode. So, at saka, many Filipinos are also not very assertive to step up and say, Edwin, alam mo, tinitingala kita bilang professional dito sa ating industriya. Pwede mo ba akong i-mentor? Hindi lahat ng tao may lakas na loob magsabi niyan eh.
And then I like what you said, Maribel, kasi kanina nga inisip ko, you cannot teach mentoring if you're not a mentor yourself. So, ayun, sa mga gusto ng mentor, ayun, si Maribel.
Ako,
Puno na po ako for this year. Next year na po.
Puno ng kalendaryo. Pero
touching
po on what you said, no, na not everyone is suitable to be a mentor and we should be assessing that as well. Ano po ba yung mga, the critical things that we look for before we can say that someone can mentor?
Criteria, no?
Mentor?
Opo, sa pag-mentor.
What do we look for to determine if this person is a good candidate to be a mentor? Well, somebody who also believes in development, self-development. Kasi pag siya mismo is seeking self-development, he will also want that for others. No? Second, kung he has the qualities of a servant leader. Kasi ang mentoring medyo, as I said, galing sa puso yan. No? And when you mentor, you need to practice, ano nga ba ito? Nakalimutan ko yung term, unconditional positive regard. Kung kaya mo mag-practice ng unconditional positive regard, you can be a good mentor.
Anong ibig sabihin ng Maribel? Paki-explain.
Oo nga po.
Ibig sabihin nun, you will remain positive even if this person is failing you. Hindi mo pwedeng pagalitan o act like a parent to this person. So yun. So and that's difficult, Kaya nga hindi mag-uubra yung supervisory mentoring kasi pag ikaw supervisor, pwede mong pagalitan eh. And the tendency is really for you to be upset that you're not doing what you're doing. But as a mentor, hindi eh. Hindi mo kayang gawin. You can only give feedback and tell the person, this is the consequence of what you did. But in terms of your own reaction to it, oh no, that's not something you want to share.
So is accountability, setting accountability, not the responsibility of a mentor?
Ano yan, sorry?
Yung pag-set po ng accountability, is that not, hindi ba siya responsibilidad ng mentor?
Well, they're both accountable for the results of the mentoring engagement, but primarily it's the mentee who should be responsible for getting things done. Kasi in the first place, this is his journey. It's not the mentors. The mentor is only taking time away from their busy schedule. You know, usually the mentors are the people who are very busy. No? They're in the higher level echelons of the organization. So it's really the mentee who should drive the relationship.
But question ko lang, Mentor M, kasi we're talking about accountability, we've talked about roles in mentoring. Who has the ultimate role and accountability in setting up a mentoring culture? Kasi baka yung program ready siguro HR, but in terms of creating a mentoring culture, who ultimately has that accountability?
Okay. Na-express ko to kay AM kanina, no, na overwhelm ako sa building a mentoring culture. Kasi when you build a culture, that's a total systems intervention. You cannot do it by training people or giving them mentoring skills, no? So I'm not sure if that's in the realm of the talent development person, or that would be more of an OD person who should be responsible for the building of the culture. But let me tell you that to build a culture, you need to start with having a mentoring program first. No. Mahirap mag-build ng culture kung puro informal lang ang inyong mga mentoring.
Yeah, heroics kasi yun, Maribel, kapag hindi siya systematic. Pero yung yung let me just share my opinion dun sa sinabi mo, Maribel, about whether this is a job for the talent development practitioner, or it should be OD. Kasi in my opinion, mentoring continues to be the most powerful and most cost-effective way of developing talents. Kaya lang, kailangan alam mo yung dalawang hats ng management at saka mentoring has to be clearly separated, and defined and separated.
Differentiated.
Differentiated kasi if we don't say, that might not be the job of the talent development practitioner, we lose an opportunity to use that as a way to facilitate development of people. Pero I agree with you na hindi siya dapat yung organic lang. Kailangan may intervention.
Kailangan total. And you have to have influence in the organization too, no?
Dapat leader yung talent development practitioner, dapat leader.
Dapat may influence ka sa organization. Hindi ka pwedeng you're somewhere down below or you're in operation. Baka mahirapan kayong mag-sustain ng mentoring program to begin with, no?
So you have to engage your champions.
Yes. Remember nung nag-design na tayo, nakwento ko yung isang organization na nag-put together na sila ng mentoring program. Tapos, in-engage na ako, ganyan. Tapos, magte-training na lang, the bosses of the mentors did not want to release the mentors for training. Bakit daw 2 days ang kailangan? So, hindi ka ba masya-shock nun? Sarado na yung kontrata.
I remember that,
Biglang, they don't want to cooperate. So, where did we go wrong there? Pero manager yung nag-initiate ng
Mukhang walang change management na nangyari.
Pwede, posible yan. Kaya nga, you need to have an OD perspective for developing a mentoring culture. You
So a
cannot
TD
just
practitioner with an OD perspective.
Yes, yes. That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Kasi there's a lot riding on mentoring eh. Kaya ako nag-opinionate dyan. We have the career development and then we have the succession management. Both will be helped a lot by building a mentoring culture.
Okay. You also need a performance management system. Huh?
That's right.
Diba?
I
Kasi
agree.
how will you identify high performers and good potentials if you don't even have a performance management system?
Mentor M, so in other words, tahiin ko lang, even if mentoring is a talent development program or initiated, lumalabas talaga it's collaborative, no? So whoever is managing the mentoring as a program has to collaborate with other sectors within HR and even outside of HR, top management in particular, no? Kasi for example, when I was with True Life UK, there is a momentum program. So yung momentum program is these are newly hired high potential people from all over the world, no? So they go through a mentoring program. So that's from the point of view of talent acquisition pa lang, no? And then when I was with Aboitiz, it has a very strong mentoring program, talagang well-defined, all the textbook cases on how to establish ginawa nila, no? And the one that champion mentoring are the very leaders, mentors themselves, no? Sila mismo yung taking pride in that. So I see the role of talent development therefore as, you know, seeking that kind of collaboration. Tama, Ms. Maribel, ano? Yung pagkakaintindi natin, collaborative siya.
Kailangan talaga. Collaborative, yeah. Everybody has a stake in this. Now, when I do my kick-off for mentoring, I always include even the immediate superior. Kasi they can actually sabotage the mentoring.
Yes.
So in the orientation, so mentor, mentee, immediate superior, kasama silang lahat dyan sa orientation.
Teka, AM, meron tayong survey, di ba? May ginawa ka survey.
Actually,
baka gusto mo simulan.
May mga tanong na kasi tayo, no, dito sa
magaganda yung mga tanong.
Mainit, no? At pasok din siya dun sa mga lumabas na results. So we'll start first with the results. When we sent out the poll, we said, what are your challenges, no, in setting up a mentoring culture? And I know we've established na parang malaki siya, pero kasama siya sa challenge ng TD professional eh. And the number one na lumabas is same as sinasabi ni Kevin, tinatanong ni Kevin, paano ba yung return? Paano natin mini-measure yung return on mentoring? Ano yung tinitignan natin para masabi na successful ang mentoring program or initiatives natin?
Okay,
evaluating the results, no?
Pero may papakita mo ba yung result, ano? AM? Di ba?
A slide.
Na-mute ka. AM.
Opo, kanina ko pa po pinupull up, medyo namamurphy made din sa ano.
Namamurphy din.
Oo. Hindi siya lumabas sa...
Pero evaluating yung
evaluating po yung
results.
number one. Tapos number two is the leadership buy-in. But we have already kind of touched on that up to now. No? Tapos yung pangatlo is whose responsibility is it, which na-answer nyo na rin. So, ang talagang pressing ngayon is the number one response.
Okay.
How do we measure?
Sige. So how do you evaluate mentoring? Well, it all depends on what your objectives are. First, you look at your objective. What is the objective? Why did you even set up a mentoring program? So you can have, kung succession management yan, titignan mo, are there ready now candidates when there are vacancies that happen? No? So dapat makita mo yon. If it's retention, you should be able to measure how many among the people who were mentored stayed and how many of those who were not mentored stayed. So makikita mo yung comparison nun. Okay, so yung mga ganun yung objective. Or kung gusto niyo naman diversity, okay? Some organizations use mentoring to bridge the generational gap. So are you seeing more interaction between the boomers and the Gen Zs and the millennials? So yeah, that would be an indicator. Or I also know of an organization that uses mentoring to capacitate women leaders so that they can climb up the organizational ladder. So now you take a measure of how many are the female leaders before we started the mentoring, and maybe 3 years down the road, measure if there are more women leaders now. So ganun yung ganun yung pang-measure ng mentoring. At no, matagalan po ito, hindi ito pwedeng i-measure after 1 year. Medyo matagalan ang results ng mentoring.
That could be one of the reasons why some functions or organizations focus sila sa ngayon na gusto nila in 6 months, 9 months. So very important to understand na talagang long-term ito. Ang daming tanong. Ang sasaya lahat.
Sige, ito na.
May maganda si Sir Jerry. Coaching is a fast-growing profession because we touched on the difference between coaching and mentoring. A good coach is paid an attractive hourly rate. Do you see mentoring following the same path or will it always be a free service? Ayan.
Ano ba? Kasi ako, I feel very uncomfortable if this were a free service. I mean, if this were paid service. Kasi long term to Hindi ito, let's start in January and end in June. Hindi ganun yun matagalan ito And usually, what happens is after the formal engagement, the mentor and the mentee continues to interact in a more informal arrangement. So paano mo pepresyohan yun?
Mahal.
So yun din po ba sagot sa tanong na
it's priceless.
Yun na nga. May nagtatanong kasi when does the mentoring relationship end? When do you know that it's time to end the mentoring relationship?
Well, it depends on if it's a formal mentoring engagement, then it ends at the end of the cycle. Kunyari, 9 months. Kaya 1 year, tapos na.
Or nag-set ng goal, Maribel. Nag-mentoring goal.
Na-achieve na yung mentoring goal. But you can also end it if you feel that the mentor is no longer the person who can help you with your goal. At the mentor should not take it personally. Ang pag-uusapan yan. Mentor kasi, ito yung gusto kong mangyari. Baka, somebody who can better address my need. Ang problema, ang mga mentees, walang guts magsalita ng ganyan sa mentor pag hindi mo sila pinrepare. In fact, meron kaming mentees na ang sumbong sa akin minsan yung mentor ko tangent na kaya lang hindi ako makakibo kasi ang taas ng posisyon niyan sa organisasyon. Yung ganon. So, kailangan mo talagang build yung confidence ng mentee to know when they need to step in and maybe bring the mentor back into the track and to also say that maybe the mentor is no longer the person who can help him. Kaya nga, sa mentoring cycle, I recommend a midpoint review. A midpoint review is a discussion between the mentor and the mentee to assess where they are and if it's worth continuing the relationship.
So kung mahaba yung mentoring engagement, Maribel, hindi lang midpoint siguro, no? Parang periodical.
Quarterly, gano'n.
Yung naman, yung every after meeting, dapat rin sila, nagde-debrief sila, no? O did we gain something from this meeting? Is there something that we should add or subtract? Dapat gano'n, no? Every meeting yan. But this midpoint review is more like a plenary thing. We call in all the partners, we get them into breakout rooms, and then they talk to each other and assess where they are. They don't talk about anything about the mentoring, what's written in the mentee development plan. They just talk about the relationship.
And AM, Mentor M, I think this is where the question of Luz Cometa is really relevant. No? So, welcome natin si Luz. Kasi si Luz, sukin na natin yan, pangatlo yung tanong niya kasi, Luz, maybe you want to unmute and you can ask the question and give the context. Luz is the director for HR
Yeah,
of Allianz PNB. Yeah.
All right. Hi. Thank you. Thank you for yeah.
Hi,
So
Luz.
my question, hi. Ano rin ako. Sorry. Ano ba?
Ayan.
Yeah. All right. Question
Word
ko,
ko.
I feel like ano kasi, mentoring is an essential part in really taking care of your employees, of your talents. I think and it should be taken seriously, meaning to say it has to be in the program, it has to be part of you as an employer, right? You take care of your employees. So, but not all organizations are really building that capability within their organization to be able to mentor or to see it as essential part. So, given that, what do you think would be the signs that the organization is not really into mentoring or they're failing in that area? Is it ako kasi I would like to think, is it attrition? I would like to ask, is it attrition? Is it retention? Is it, not having enough leaders on the bench to step up into the bigger responsibilities?
Sige, I want to go back to my earlier statement that you measure the success of your mentoring program based on your original objective. What was the objective of setting up a mentoring program? And so you measure according to the indicators that you've chosen at the beginning of the program. So kung retention yung issue mo, tingnan mo kung improve ba yung retention after the mentoring program.
I see.
Maybe a year down the road, no? Kasi hindi mo naman yan ma-measure agad immediately. So yun.
Meaning these objectives can vary from organization to organization.
Oh yes, definitely. Do you want me to show you case uses of mentoring para lang makita niyo yung
please.
Oh yes.
Basta yung baon na yan.
breadth and depth of
Ilabas.
what you can do using mentoring. So mentoring programs are not designed equally. Iba-iba yung purpose kasi. So iba-iba rin yung yung configuration or yung scheme. Wait lang. I'm trying to open my
habang ino-open mo yan, Maribel, gusto ko rin magbigay ng insight doon sa sinabi ni Luz, no? I think na-experience din natin to, Maribel, in one of our projects together, no? Yung initial, yung before you provide training to the would-be mentors, iniisip nila, mentor na sila. Tapos pag tinanong mo, gano'ng kadalas ka araw-araw ako nagme-mentor ng tao. During meetings, when I tell them what to do, I'm mentoring. No? So parang they associate yung mentoring, yung supervision and management closely, lalo na kung nasa competency framework ng organization. No? So akala nila, when I'm managing people, I'm automatically mentoring. Kaya pagka yung tinitrain na sila, na-realize na those are two separate things and sometimes collide with each other. Those two different roles. Kaya iniisip nila, kapag ka hindi nag-improve yung tao, I'm failing at mentoring as well as I'm failing with managing.
Kaya nga, when I do my mentor training, I spend a lot of time clarifying concepts. Kasi kung magkakaiba yung pagkakaintindi natin ng mentoring, mahirap tayong magkaintindihan. So I really spend
we're on the same
page.
Time.
We have to be at the same page. Yeah. Sige, let me just show you some of the case uses of mentoring. And if you're talent development, you can use it in any of these. You can do it for onboarding. Pwede ka mag-mentoring dyan. Meron akong client na bank that really benefits from getting the new hires who are usually students who graduated with Latin honors on board because of the mentoring activity. If you want to use it in performance management, pwede rin, no? But as Edwin said, we need to really distinguish when we're wearing the mentor hat and when we're wearing the supervisor's hat. Or in competency development, you can have technical mentors who will mentor a person on a specific competency.
Technical
and then
mentors.
you can use mentoring to help people develop their careers. Or you can use it for leadership development. No? Sabi nga nila, good mentoring is good leadership. So if they do well in mentoring, they can be very good leaders. And this also supports succession management. I've had a few clients who are desperate to find replacements. And then they will call me a year before the CEO is retiring. And I say, you're too late. But yeah, let's go ahead with this mentoring. But it's too late. Okay? Or it could also be knowledge management. I have a client whose primary objective is to make sure that the institutional memory and the specific technology of their organization is transferred to the next generation. So, knowledge management. Hindi lang kasama dyan yung diversity. If you want to improve diversity, you can also use mentoring as a way of getting more inclusion of kunyari, women or whatever gusto nyo i-include. So
Napaka-robust ano? Yung application ng mentoring. It's too powerful to ignore. And a lot of organizations are ignoring it.
Yeah. Or they think they're doing it, but they're doing it wrongly. Yun ang problema. They think they know how to do it, but in the end, nag-fizzle out. Kasi the structures are not there, the support is not there. Kawawa, sayang lang.
Intuitive, hindi systematic.
Right.
It gives mentoring a bad name. Natotraumatize pa yung mga na-involved doon sa mentoring.
In short, they engage in mentoring activities, but not as an established program, no?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So, this brings me to my question. Okay. Talent development practitioner ako. Gusto kong I'm the manager, for example, of learning and development, and I recognize coming from this conversation na kailangan malaking tulong sa organization na mag-build ako ng mentoring program. Ano yung mga first few steps that I should take, Maribel, in order to do that? If there are 3 or 5 important steps that I should take to facilitate the building of the culture, what are those initial steps that I should take?
The first one is always, why do you want mentoring? Dapat
recognize the goal.
Convince ka at convince yung boss mo that the organization will benefit from the mentoring program. Kasi may investments yan eh.
Okay.
So that's one. And then 2, look at your organization, assess your organization if it's ready for a formal mentoring program. There are certain things you need to look at, no? You need to find out kung meron ba kayong performance management system, meron bang mga career paths, okay, may mga training programs available ba tayo para sa mga mentor and mentee. I really recommend that you don't do mentoring until you equip the mentors with the necessary skills. Skills po yan, hindi yan yung natural behavior.
Hold on, Maribel. Number 3 yun, di ba? Yung number 2, balikan ko lang. You'll need some support mechanisms like performance management, career development. So are you saying, please correct me if I'm wrong, na kapag wala pa yun, don't start a mentoring program?
Kung gusto mo ay leadership development, kailangan yan. Pero kung ang objective mo lang is to onboard them, you can have a mentoring without all of these.
So you scope your mentoring program based on the readiness of the organization in terms of support mechanisms like performance management, career development, etc. Okay. So third is you have to train the mentors.
To train the mentors. But of course, kailangan may plan for change ka rin kasi medyo iba ito eh. So you need to get the buy-in of the bosses. Pag muna kayo mag-set up ng training schedule, baka matulad kayo sa isang client ko na naka-schedule na kami, hindi ni-release yung mga mentors kasi daw, bakit 2 days kung te-training ang mentors?
Yeah.
Okay, so you really need to get the buy-in of the immediate, the team, the leadership team, because they also need to role model the behavior. If they can role model the behavior, at least sponsor it.
May tanong nga doon sa sa chat, parang how do you sell this to the bosses?
How do you sell? Well, like the way you sell anything else, any other program, you have to convince the boss that this is a solution for a pain that you have in the organization. Or if you don't have a pain in the organization, what is the opportunity? Okay? You can say, uy, yung competitor natin may mentoring program. Tayong mentoring program. Baka...
Actually, yung isang slide mo lang kanina, Maribel, if they can explain that, yan that's sure to get some buy-in from the bosses.
Yeah.
Oo.
So, yun. So, kailangan buy-in.
Okay.
Sa akin, importante yung buy-in na yan.
Oh, I think that goes first, no? Yung buy-in. Get everybody's buy-in. Do we need to get the buy-in of the mentees? What should the talent development practitioner do to get the buy-in of the mentees?
Okay. Sige. So, what you need to do is to determine who wants to go through a career development workshop. Huwag niyo muna sabihin yung mentoring. Career dev workshop muna. Sige. So, nag-career dev workshop sila. They articulated their aspirations, their goals. Okay. Is there any part of that career development plan where you feel mentoring can help you? Then you recruit them. Sige, you want to get a mentor for this particular competency. Then you go. Because that gives them a concrete reason for being part of the mentoring program. Hindi yung, kasi kasali lang ako, parang magandang kasali dyan. Pero actually, hindi naman sila into it, no? Sayang yung oras, sayang yung investment.
They must want to have a mentor, no?
Oo. Kakahiya din doon sa mentor kasi sayang niya yung executive time ng mentor. Kasi ang mentoring naman, you allow them to do their conversation during office hours, Di ba?
Oo. Actually, yung sinabi mo, I think answers yung question ni Kevin Nera, no? Yung can a mentor be someone external to the org? If the mentee recognizes the power of mentoring, and then one of the things that we also teach the mentees that they can get more than one mentor, di ba?
Oh, yeah.
And if they understand the value of mentoring, they can get anywhere outside of the organization if need be. Pwede silang kumuha ng mentor, di ba?
And this is what I want to say to the young people in PSTD.
Yes.
Hang out with PSTD people because you will learn a lot. Kahit upo ka lang sa tabi nila one afternoon at nagkakwentuhan kayo, may matututunan kayo dyan. I'm very thankful for being part of PSTD. I've been part of PSTD since 1982. My first membership to PSTD, 1982.
Nasaan kayo noong 1982? Huwag na sagutin.
Ano?
Ang sabi ko, nasaan kayo noong 1982?
Hindi pa pinapanganak.
Ano pa lang sila, konsepto pa lang sila. This is where I found my career heroes. Yung titignan ko lang sila, ano yung kaya nilang gawin? Parang gusto kong kaya ko na rin gawin yan in the future. Yung gano'n, I have a role model. I have role models for my career. Yan, si Jerry Plana, naku, tinitingala ako talaga yan nung bata pa ako. Tinitingala ako pa rin yan naman hanggang ngayon. Jerry.
Yes, speaking of Sir Jerry, medyo twice na niya pinahapyawan tong tanong na to. Humihingi siya ng sample ng what are the different types of mentoring conversations. But now he's also saying, maraming mentors daw sa Go Negosyo, but he's wondering about the quality. Can you describe an example of a quality mentoring conversation?
I'm sorry, again, yung last part hindi ko na-gets.
Sabi niya po, Maribel, can you describe an example of a quality mentoring conversation?
A quality mentoring conversation. Usually, a quality conversation is kept within an hour and you have a framework to follow. And at the end of that hour, you're able to achieve the agenda of the mentoring conversation. Yeah. So, quality is really measured against the results that are gained from the conversation. Plus, if the relationship is sustained, that's a good indicator. That's a good indicator for quality relationships.
Yun actually yun yung gusto kong idagdag doon, Maribel. Kasi kahit gaano kataas yung quality ng mentoring conversation, if it's only done once, it's not mentoring. Yung consistency and follow through is important and powerful. Yung mga follow-up sessions ko with mentors, for example, makikita ko yung, di ba, we start by sucking. Hindi naman tayo magaling agad, lalo na we've learned something. But I think the common denominator doon sa mga successful mentoring is the consistency and regularity of conversations.
Yes, yes. Consistency and regularity are very important in the mentoring journey because it gives the partners parang a rhythm to follow. No? Pero kung postpone natin ngayon, 2 weeks from now naman, nakakawala ng energy tsaka momentum yun.
Yeah, I agree. Ayun. Sabi ni Miggy, am I growing when I converse with my mentor and learning new things that can be applied? Anong context nito?
Parang yun daw yung measurement ng quality.
Measurement. I agree.
Ito. Ayan, sabi ni Michael Joseph Kabawatan. Documentation is the major problem of their mentoring program. Do you have tips on documenting or making it easy for executives to document outcomes?
Okay.
Or maybe the conversation.
What we do with our mentoring programs is we ask the mentee to document. It's not the job of the mentor to document, it's the mentee. Now, why is it important to do a documentation of your meeting? One, because you want each meeting to be connected to each other. It's not just, disparate discussions on different things. So it has to be a build-up towards the mentee objective for that particular journey. So kailangan yung documentation.
Siguro ang may dagdag ko diyan is yung para hindi mahirapan yung mentee, kung merong onboarding ng mentoring program is baka pwedeng mag-develop kayo ng mentoring journal na easy to use. The easier to use, the better.
Yes.
Tapos doon nagdo-document si mentee and then report the progress doon sa program manager ng mentoring program. So I imagine that when you say you have a mentoring program, you have a program manager. Kasi kung walang program manager,
program manager, napakahalaga. Yes.
Yeah.
Hindi yan programmatic kung walang program manager.
And maidagdag ko lang, since ang pinag-uusapan natin documentation, so please confirm, Mentor M, kung tama yung pagkakaintindi ko. So I would approach this as documenting a program or a process. I can use PDCA approach, plan, do, check, act. That means may documentation ako on the planning aspect, which is the mentorship goals, the career goals, and other forms of planning. Mayroon din akong documentation in terms of how do I execute the mentoring sa point of view ng mentee. So these are like guides or templates or tools.
Achievement report.
Not only achievement report, but also the one that would guide the mentors. Like, how do I manage a mentoring conversation? May documentation na yon. So parang guidance documents. And then yung check are the progress. So kung nagkaroon tayo ng debrief or nagkaroon tayo ng midpoint review, those are also documented and collated along the way. And then touching on the question of Luz kanina, kung may nag-fail, for example, at any point because of the results that we have assessed, then mayroon tayong some sort of corrective action. So parang ganun din ang nakikita ko that when we look at documentation, we have to document this as a program, end-to-end. Tama po ba?
Yeah. Oo. Yan, very comprehensive yung documentation.
Pero yun nga, as user-friendly as possible.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
You don't want to traumatize both the mentor and the mentee. Marami kasi ako nakita mga elaborate documentation na parang yung iba hindi naman necessary information. Pag nakita ng mga na-overwhelm, ang hirap namang gawin ito.
And then speaking of that, just in case being mindful of the time, na-establish nasimulan na yung mentoring program, what are your practical tips on how to sustain the mentoring program that has been started? Because we know pwedeng mainit sa umpisa, no? and then it would fizzle out and die a natural death.
Yeah. Well, if you're doing a pilot program, I suggest to the mentoring program administrators to really check up on the pairs.
Yeah.
Kung meron silang meeting evaluation after each meeting, they can look at that to see if there are red flags. Kung medyo iba yung rating ni mentor at iba yung rating ni mentee, oops, ba't kaya to hindi nagtutugma? So you need to talk to them. So it can be labor intensive, but it pays very well in terms of sustainability. So as you said, Edwin, napakahalaga ng mentoring program manager. Hindi ito bagay na pwede mong isingit lang sa sa iyong trabaho as T&D manager. Depende rin kasi kung gaano karami yung pairs mo eh. The more pairs, the more laborious it becomes. Kung if you're just starting with 8 pairs, pwede lang yan, isingit. Pero once you upscale that, na yan. It will require a lot of negotiation, checking up on each of the pair, helping the pair deal with challenges that they're experiencing.
Mentoring of mentors.
Mentoring of mentors, no? And still, siguro, last na lang, touching still on sustainability since, as you mentioned, the managers, the leaders can pull the plug out of the mentoring life. No? So ano yung mga information na dapat na-inform sila so that the mentoring as a program is sustained, even their interest in it?
Okay. Well, there's one nice practice of one of my friends in Bangko Sentral. Every quarter, they get their mentors and mentees together and they give them a quick learning session. And after that,
nice.
Kamustahan. They call it a kamustahan. No?
I see.
So it sustains the energy, it sustains the enthusiasm. Kasi maraming kumbaga pakulo along the way to make sure that
sayang wala si Nitoy dito. Minsan si Nitoy.
May isang tanong dito, Mentor M. May a mentor implement mentoring to more than one mentee simultaneously to support a common objective?
Parang kung may team coaching, group mentoring.
Can a mentor 2 people at the same time?
Yeah, something like that.
Siguro pag technical mentoring yan, no? Kasi hindi naman, doesn't really involve a lot of the personal things of these mentees, and they both have a need to develop a particular technical competency, then that's possible.
Or maybe dun sa onboarding type of mentoring na sinabi mo, no? Pwedeng isa or dalawang hawakan.
May tanong si Luz, when do you do peer mentoring?
When you find it useful.
If the mentee finds...
Peer mentoring, it happens so informally. Back where I used to work sa Philippine Airlines, I would talk to people who are the experts in these areas, and then we're doing peer mentoring. And then when they need something about training, they come to me and we discuss it. Ganun lang, parang hindi masyadong formal. But
may
it's
mga
really,
client, may mga client ako na clients ako na nag-implement ng body system. And then when you look at that body system, there's a mentoring relationship going on.
Yeah.
So that's something that's done programmatically kasi ang gusto nila mangyari, yung isang tao alam yung ginagawa nung isa and then the same way, no? So para pag yung isa ay umalis o lumipat ng yung knowledge management component pa na pinakita mo kanina. So I think yun ay a good example of peer mentoring kasi same levels, maybe a little different assignments, pero they help each other out, no? So
body system,
Body system.
Yeah.
Okay.
Guys.
7:01, ang dami pang
questions, and but so much has been covered also, no. Ang daming myth busting nga, sabi ko. Ang dami nating akala natin alam natin about mentoring. First 30 minutes pa lang parang 3 na nabilang ko. So many myths busted, but also so many takeaways.
Hanapan natin ng part 2.
Oo nga.
Yeah, definitely.
From the start to overcoming challenges to building and sustaining. Nako, Mentor M. Final na lang po, what's something you want to say to the people who are here, the are TD professionals and practitioners, and those who may watch the episode pa na wala ngayon.
Okay. Well, if you want to start building a mentoring culture, start with yourself. Learn mentoring skills and mentor someone. See how it feels.
Yeah, you have to experience it first.
Yes, you have to experience it.
Kaya sayo na sa PSTD kasi maraming peer mentoring na nagaganap dito.
Oo, tsaka yun pa, hang out with PSTD peeps.
Yes.
Dami kayong matututunan dyan.
Send your application forms.
Oy, marami tayong kailangan committee members.
Volunteers kung meron. And guys, it's more accessible than you think, literal. So, FB lang, message lang kayo. Ayan. So,
AM?
Po.
Yeah, if I may, on behalf of the team, thank you, Mentor Emma. So, what PSTD is trying to do is also to professionalize the practice of mentoring. So, coaching, there's a lot of providers already. There's a lot. Mayroon na tayong standards na sinusunod dyan, ICF, and professional coaches are everywhere. But how many are professional mentors who are certified in their mentoring skills? No, so what PSTD is trying to do, and also of course with the help of Mentor M, mayroon na po tayong mentoring guide actually, no, which PSTD has came up with in collaboration with Australian Scholars Award ba? Australia Awards, no, and then what we are now working on are the sets of capabilities and standards and competencies for the mentoring practice. So what I'm hoping is that we can continue this conversation. I mean, the 61 of us here and those who are in Facebook Live, because there's so much to cover still. And knowing that mentoring is really a parang game changer in the talent development, it really moves the needle, no, into the development path of anyone. So it's a must that we need to continue not just the conversation, but work together in establishing a robust mentoring practice, not just in our organization, but in the Philippines as well. So masyadong malawak, but we can start here sa PSTD. So it's an invitation for everyone.
Ayun, may nagtanong si Michael kung available ba yung manual. Nasa LXP po. Nasa digital library ng PSTD.
You have to be a member.
Kung member po kayo, you can download.
You have to be a member to access it.
Yeah, you have to be a member.
Sobrang dami yung makukuha in membership.
Hindi lang yun, marami pa nandun.
Sobra talaga. The foundation is really made up of volunteers and people who are generous with not just their talent and their time, but even the templates that maybe have worked for them. You can look at those as well. So it comes with so much. It's already a community of people who volunteer. So you're in good company. Ayan.
Ayun, may habilin si Press. We need
Happy
members.
Yes, actually.
Happy birthday kay Press.
Si Rex nandito rin, alam ko. Happy birthday din. No, we need members for the mentoring committee because Press and I also put together the mentoring committee sometime in 2020 or 2021. Right? And we want that to progress and to continue. So kung lahat dito magiging members, why not, di ba? We have so much to cover.
Yeah. At ayan, yung mga actually dito sa ating audience, napakaraming potential mentors. Si Sam Bautista nandito, mag-renew ka na, Sam, tuloy mo na yan.
Yung mga pangalan ay Luz Kumeta.
Uy, walang
Ituloy na yung mga renewals na yan. At mag-join ng committee. Okay, si Maribel and si Irene ay nandun sa mentoring committee, di ba? Yes. So, konti lang ang kailangan natin, mga 50 pwede na, no? 50 mentors pwede na yan.
Kasi doon sa mga hindi pa nakakaranas ng committee work sa PSTD, so it's more than a work for us because we also learn in the process. It's really a community of practice and a community of learners, no? Talagang it's really more than just attending a training program. Importante yung pag-attend ng training program, lalo na kung mga certification program ng PSTD, syempre. Pero iba rin yung mayroong kang actual na nakakausap, nakakasalamuha, and you talk about a common interest like mentoring. So, sige, tuloy natin.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Thank you, Mentor M. Masyadong marami kayong na-inspire today and naturuan din today and na-set to the right mindset today. So we are very grateful and thank you to everyone who attended. Alam nyo na, hihingi ng picture si Natanya, who's taking our
pa-open ng mga camera.
Ayan.